quiero. Excuse my muffled voice first and foremost. I am wearing a mask. It's an Oni mask. Now, why am I wearing an Oni mask? Halloween is gone. Because I am obsessed with this mask. It's from Fortnite, actually. If you can see the details. If not, it's okay. It's from Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite. As a matter of fact, I'm here to tie a bunch of shit together. A bunch of the current events and current patterns we can observe in our society and how it's all actually connected, but we as individuals fail to see the connections. We fail to see that the problems we witness are actually solutions waited to be unfolded. Now, that's a big undertaking, I think. So I'm gonna take off my mask off so you can actually hear my voice. But I like the mask on a lot. I love to wear masks because they hide my identity, and isn't that an exhilarating thing to experience in the real world? Anonymity. We all experience it. I mean, go out in public, most people don't know who you are, you're just a stranger. So it's right there, you have anonymity already. Anyways, let's talk about Fortnite. So Fortnite is a shooting game. Why do I want to talk about it? I don't know how to bring it all together, but it is 2025, and specifically, it is November of 2025. So we're on the fourth quarter of our year of 2025. Now, remember, if you're American, there is an undergoing plan. It's called Project 2025 that is being literally worked on right now as we speak, and it has been on the making for, well, it was already made. It has been on development for a while. Okay, now we see the effects of said project, and I don't know what the ultimate goal is. I don't care, because I don't care to see it through. I care about standing up for what is right, and we haven't been doing that. Not as a nation. As Americans, we have been taking it up the ass. We have. Let's just be honest. And the worst part is that we are paying the companies to fuck us with their expensive dildos. That's what we're doing as consumerists. We are paying our oppressors to fuck us. And then you complain about getting fucked. Like, we just gotta be more honest here. You are the one putting your money into the companies that you complain about. It's not constructive. You can be a performative activist all you want. Your actions show what you actually support. Because the thing is that you want to be a good human being. Everybody wants to. Not everybody, of course. We have to be more honest. There's a lot of people who are very comfortable being the evil counterpart in this storyline. And that's okay. There is room for good and evil always. But the thing is that evil can never prevail, okay? And it's up to us, the people, the individuals, to do the right things, to bring goodness back into our normal lives. Because our normal lives right now, at least for the lower class of America, is a lot of unnecessary suffering, a lot of preoccupation with our individual dramas, so much so that it blinds us to the overall project that is going on. I mean, yes, it hurts a lot to be in your position. I can understand that. It hurts a lot to be in my position too, to just be a fucking unemployed nobody, right? A number in the system. It hurts a lot to live in that reality, but we don't have to. We don't have to. Now, as a human, what can you do, right? Like, you would love to see a fair world. You would love to see world peace. You would love to see all these concepts that are never going to be reality because of human nature. Many of us are okay with being evil, and we have to accept that in order to face evil. Because the thing is, evil is not something you are, it's what you do, okay? How you perpetuate your existence, essentially. If you're a person who constantly suppresses their negative emotions, well, those emotions have to come out eventually, somehow. Now, many people, and this is why I wanted to bring up Fortnite, a lot of the gamer community, a lot of the male loneliness epidemic community, because it's a real thing. Males are very lonely. Why? Because we learn to be inhumane to ourselves and to everybody around us, so nobody fucking wants us. And it makes sense, right? Why are we so lonely? Because we're assholes to the people who love us. We push away the people who show us genuine love because we don't know what the fuck love is. Nobody in this fucking social class, lower social class, knows what the fuck love is. If we did, we wouldn't be suffering every fucking day. But we were deprived of understanding and being loved. Not everybody, right? But many of us were deprived of being loved by our parents because they were too preoccupied trying to put a fucking roof over our heads. We have to understand that the system works in very specific ways, and it's not always up to the individual to be blamed entirely for their failure of parenting or whatever. It's always the individual, the relationship between the individual and the environments that individual has to inhabit. Now, I'm an immigrant, right? I came from Mexico at 13 and I've been living in America since. I haven't gone back to live to Mexico, but I have visited. And I stopped visiting about 6 years ago because the crime waves just went crazy. And that's another thing about the whole beast that is America. It has its influence everywhere in the fucking world, especially on third world and second world countries. I mean, think about the hierarchy of capitalism. In order to have a ruling class at the top, which it's what it is, it's a ruling class. Everybody on the bottom, all the working class, we are under their rule. It's a fucking monarchy, but it's no longer about one ruler. It's about the money, capitalism. The companies with the most money get to rule the rest of us. And we have to live our day by day fucking life, slaving away our time to make profit for these motherfuckers. Because there's something called the fucking minimum wage. Can we actually take a second to really understand how detrimental this bullshit is to us? Why are companies allowed to pay the bare minimum in order to maximize their profit? We are the working force. We are the means of productions. And we're treated like shit. And we are taking it. That's the thing. We're taking it because we think this is the only alternative. Because we don't know better. Because we weren't taught any better. We were made... Literally, we were raised like dumb slaves. So you could never see that your chains were imaginary. That there's no actual evil corporation controlling your life. It's just... they bombard you with so much bullshit that you start to believe your world is unbearable. And yes, emotions can be unbearable when you don't know how to deal with emotions, but the thing is that you as a human will always go through emotions. You will always go through negative events, negative circumstances, negative bullshit in your life. Everybody goes through it. You're not special in your suffering, and that's something that we all have to recognize. Yes, there are class systems, there are levels of suffering, but ultimately we're all suffering. And the thing is that suffering is not just physical, it's not just here. Because if you have read any of Eastern philosophy, there is, in the Bhagavad Gita, there is a part in which the main character, Krishna, Arjun, the main character. There is no really main character on the Bhagavad Gita. Anyways, from Eastern philosophy, we can take that, especially from Buddhism, that suffering is an innate part of human experience. You cannot live without experiencing suffering. And the thing is that it's cyclical. It comes back. Suffering, just like bliss, it's temporary parts of your experience. You may go through suffering events or events that make you suffer, but they will end eventually. That suffering ends eventually. The thing is that many of us, when we encounter scenarios that we cannot process mentally, emotionally, physically, we tend to make mental narratives, so ideas of what it means about us, or about our identity, about, for example, a mother who cannot grieve the loss of her child. If that pain, the first pain, which is the actual loss of their child, if that pain is then coupled with all of the mental narratives of, I was a bad mother, I was never good enough for this kid, I could have avoided this, all of that, all of these excuses that your mind makes. No, you couldn't. It is what it is. It happened. Your son is dead, unfortunately, right? So we first have to face the reality of the circumstances, the reality that we're being fucked over by our overlords, and we are paying to get fucked over. Now, yeah, this is a very radical idea. Everything I say is radical because I don't no longer have the patience. I no longer have the patience to bullshit around, because it's all been bullshit around. And look at where we're at. Look at our presidency. This is what happens when people just give up. And we can't continue to give up, because the thing is, you're giving up because you're being burned out by all the bullshit you consume. Think about it. Is your life actually unenjoyable, or do you spend way too much time giving your attention away for shit that you don't care about? Shit that doesn't fucking matter to your immediate experience. Now, it's important for us to have a clear understanding of what's going on in the world, right? Do not completely disconnect from the world, but don't let all of the bullshit that's happening in the world permeate your lived-in experience, because you have no control over the world itself, life itself. Many of us grow up in this solipsist capitalist thinking that you can actually change the world. You can influence things, but you cannot change anything outside of yourself. Like actual change, it can only come from yourself. And that's this whole video. It might put you on a very uncomfortable position, because I'm literally telling you, realize that you are the one in front of your way. We all are. Now, when we couple this with the global crisis that we're going under, in my opinion, the best thing that we can do as rebels is to literally unearth all the bullshit that this parasite that is capitalism has put into our system. Competition, all right? Over competitive mentality, that's one of them. Comparison, you are always comparing yourself to some standard that doesn't fucking matter. Some standard that was chosen by who? To what aims? Do you even question these things? You must. You have to start questioning everything, especially in this day and age, especially where we're heading at, because with the advent of AI and American stupidity, things can only get worse, okay? Trust me, things can only get worse. We're at the tip of the iceberg, babes. Even though it may look like shit right now, it can get worse. Always. And trust me, it's just a matter of times and our people's complacency for all of that bullshit to unravel. If we keep standing on the sidelines, letting all this bullshit happen in front of us because we feel like if we speak up, there will be shit going our way. Coming our way. Well, you have to pay the price, unfortunately. It's about actually standing up, not about wishing things were better. That's wishful thinking. That keeps you in the same place and so unsatisfied with your life because you wish it were different, but it's not. So that's one thing. And then let's go back to Fortnite and the whole gaming. Okay, many people who play video games and who are addicted to video games, hi, I used to be addicted to League of Legends for like 11 years. Hello. So I know what I'm talking about. I know the communities that surround these fucking video games. And the thing is that a video game is great. It's a storytelling device, whatever. It's an artistic device, whatever. But ultimately, most of art, if you look at Hollywood and all of this shit, most of today's art is done for the profit. And we have to consider what that means. If most of it is for the profit, who gets to set the standards? Who gets to say what's actually being portrayed to the people? Because one thing that you might not recognize is that everything you consume will affect your psyche. If you're constantly consuming violence, that's your normal. Violence is your normal, okay? And it's no fucking surprise. And yes, there was a whole thing about how video games make your kid violent, and we push back against that. Normally, in a day-by-day life, we're not really exposed to violence unless we consume media that is violent. So the only way to normalize violence is if you consume it day by day. And that's what playing violent video games does to your psyche. It literally rewires you. Just like any movie, if you're a consumer of horror movies, you will eventually see reality in a different way. Whatever you consume shapes your perception. And this is key. because many of us are mindless consumers. We're just consuming whatever the fuck we're fed, whatever is popular, whatever people are talking about. Well, why do you think? You have to sit back and understand that everything has a purpose. And even if you as an individual cannot understand what the purpose is, that doesn't mean that there's no purpose. Now, when it comes to like popular shit, think about the narrative, the overall narrative, and how it seems like coincidences when things link together. When this movie references that movie, and this world event is happening, and there's a movie about it already. Like, it's all by design. There are people making choices of where you, the consumer, is. The consumer, nobody, the number in the system, where your attention is gonna go. And if you don't stand up against that, you're literally playing along to the fucking game. You're a pawn. You're being used as a pawn. And that's the hard part, is accepting that we're all being used as pawns, and we eventually have to step away from letting all of this shit consume us. We become consumers to the point of self-consumption, where you're no longer an individual, you're not a person, you're just a number. Anyways, but somebody had to say it, right? And the thing is that you can't rabble on the suffering of it all. Because, again, suffering is an innate part of life, and it's temporary. And the most suffering comes from the narratives that you build around that suffering. Were you abandoned as a kid? Well, that shouldn't have to say anything about your identity, but our mind likes to, because this is early childhood trauma, our mind can only cope with it by centering you and making you the problem, the origin of the problem. Now, as you grow up and do self-improvement work and heal and trauma, deprogramming, all of that shit, you start to understand, well, you were a kid, you were the fucking victim of the situation, but for some reason, because this is how our fucking mind brain works, you started to blame yourself along the way. And this happens when you don't have strong community figures to guide you through the pain of traumatic experiences. Because trauma itself is not the event, it's how you learn to respond to those events. Because that event is not one single event. After you go through a traumatic event, it keeps repeating itself in your life. And it may look differently, but it's always the same feelings that get evoked. Anyways, I really felt like making this video this morning because I'm done. I'm fucking tired of this. I'm fucking tired. I made a 50-year-old friend, alright? A white man who does trading for a living. Stock trading or futures trading. This guy was part of the system in a way that I could never have been, right? Like, he was raised under money, under the actual middle class of America, middle to higher class. I was raised on the working lower class. And for somebody like me, and if you are like me, you will understand, there is so much luxury in this world that we were made to feel like was completely out of our reach, but it wasn't. It's just that you didn't meet the requirements for that luxury, which is money. And it's all about money under capitalism, but there's so much more to life than money itself. When you find fucking inner peace, it doesn't fucking matter where you're at. It doesn't matter what your financial circumstances are. There is inner peace because you're alive, because you understand that you matter regardless of whatever society labels you as. That's the beginning. You can form a life from that understanding. You can surround yourself with people who see themselves in this way and who see you in this way, who you actually matter to. Because there is nothing more painful than being surrounded by people who constantly show you that you don't fucking matter. And you deserve better than that. We all do. But it's about standing up for yourself and taking the steps to walk away from those environments, to walk away from those interactions. Because you can live without them. You really can. But it might sound painful at first to just leave behind everything that's of your detriment, because you can. Not everything, of course, right? And some things that are to your detriment, like capitalism, they're internal. They're just concepts. They're ways of interacting in the world. So for example, comparison, that's one of the biggest one. You really gotta get rid of your comparison mind, your comparing mind. Because ultimately, what does it matter if you're better or worse than somebody else? It's just conceptual. At the end of the day, you're both humans. So really, is there a superiority or inferiority between two human beings? Only if you're willing to accept that all of these constructs like rich, wealth, all of these dumbass concepts that we accepted, if you accept them, then it's going to be easy to see other people as less than you or more than you. But when you reject all of this bullshit programming that came from a colonial species, a species that governs other people through submission, if you keep all of this programming in your being, you're going to perpetuate, you're going to uphold the system. And that's what I'm here to tell you. You gotta get rid of that bullshit little by little. It's possible, we all can, but you have to commit to do it. And that's the thing, many people are more comfortable with just complaining online and feeling like they're doing something instead of actually doing the work. And if it doesn't get called out, it's going to continue, and it's going to see Project 2025 come to fruition. And I mean, I don't even know if we can change this at this point, but you gotta try. Especially the immigrants, because people like me who immigrated into this country, we had to assimilate into this dumbass society. Because it is what it is. It's a society of dumb people who uphold the wills and the whims of a top 1%. Because don't know better. It's as simple as that. We don't know better, so we don't do better. And by not doing better, we're literally following the predisposed path given to us by this ruling class. And now, this ruling class doesn't have to have a name. Like, you don't have to... It's, of course, those billionaires who are parading around with the president, right? But after their death, there's going to be that structure still. It's not about the individuals. You have to understand this. It's about the structure itself. It just happens that in 2025, in this timeline we're inhabiting, it happens to be those certain individuals. But there's always going to be a ruling class and a ruled class under capitalism, under this system of colonialism. And you have to start seeing the beast so you can face it, so you can dismantle it from within. Because again, I really don't think that we can make change on the external plane, like as a collective. Because think about the good people, quote, quote, the good band. It's a bunch of different people. We're from all over the world, but we want better for our people. However, there's so many points of conflict because we were not raised in the same culture. So there's going to be a lot of disagreement. However, we cannot let this disagreement keep us from collaborating with one another to find better ways, because that's how the fucking 1% keeps their power, by keeping you mad at the marginalized people, so you don't come together and fucking overthrow them. That's how it is. It's simple. It's just hard to face it. And you have to start accepting that many things in life are simple, but actually doing them is what's hard, because you have to face all of the bullshit that you... See, here's the thing. There's something called social conditioning, which is how you learn to interact with other people in this life, how you learn to interact in public spaces, shared spaces, what we call society, how to behave within society. Now, in order to actually be a normal people under such sick society, you have to be complacent of all the evil that maintains this fucking society. So like, profit first. Even people who want to see themselves out of poverty, we tend to fall for chasing the money, and eventually we glorify the fucking money. We sanctify it. It's our fucking god. Money is our god. And so money doesn't give a shit about humans. Money was made by humans. So if your god doesn't give a shit about humans, you do not give a shit about humans. And that's just what it is. It's just that many people don't accept this because capitalism has room for humanity, according to them, right? But it's literally against humanity. at a certain point we really lost the whole plot of humanity. And I mean, this is where we're at. There's many people out there. The only reason why I'm uploading this video is because I know there's a lot of people who can think this way and can accept this and can actually do the work. You're not alone. Even though it feels like you're alone, because going out in these streets, everybody in these fucking streets, especially in Chicago, everybody's so fucking complacent with the status quo. Chicago, bitch, Chicago's red line to the fucking T. There is a clear distinction between the poor and the middle class and the higher class neighborhoods. It's just what it is. And it's about calling it out and really taking a step back and realizing this is not how it's supposed to be, but we're allowing it. Day by day, we're allowing this shit. And again, you don't have to put the whole burden of society and of worldly conflict on your back, because it's going to kill you. Trust me, it's going to kill you. What you have to do is realize that all of the shit that you hate out there in this world, it lives within you. It does live within you, because for you to realize that out there, you had to see it within you first. But that's how projection works. When you see ugly shit or things you hate or make you uncomfortable out there in the world, it's because they live within you, and instead of facing them, you're projecting that hate towards those things. That's how it is. For example, this is a very personal one. I hate people pleasers. I hate people pleasers because I've been a people pleaser my whole life, and I fucking hate that. Because it's one thing to make part of your mission to help people around you, right? To help without looking for a reward. To just be altruistic by nature. Whenever there's help and I'm right there and I can help, I do it. No expectations. That's one way of living, which is very anti-capitalist because capitalism says, if you need help, you gotta pay me. If there is no reward for me, why the fuck would I do anything for you? And see, that's anti-human. That's just anti-human, but we've normalized it to a point that it just seems like it is what it is. Like, you just gotta take it. And sure, you can choose to be this way. You can definitely choose to be an evil person. Whatever, right? It's your choice, it's your life. You will be the one in your deathbed, with or without regrets, and that's up to you. I ain't got shit to do with that. However, because of the complacency of evil, we are allowing a very, very catastrophic timeline to present itself in front of us. We're just sitting here watching it. And when we say power to the people, what does that really mean? Really, what does that mean? Anyways, I just needed to vent because I'm over it. I'm over this fucking society. I'm over this fucking world. I'm so fucking over it. But the thing is, I don't want to leave just yet. I want to see this through. I want to see how it ends, because I think many of us are going, if I'm going to get on my honest bag, I think many of us are going to be taken down. Like, literally just and honestly, I've been meditating for 2 years. I'm ready, because meditation is preparing yourself to die, to meet death whenever it comes. I'm ready. It's about time, because I don't want to live on this. I don't care for it. Like, it can die. It can all die. I don't give a shit. But I'm trying not to give up on humanity just yet. And many of us are, but many of us have also given up. And why did I even mention Fortnite and video games? Because I come from that community. And I think the key is for us to address these people. Not saying that the whole entirety of the future depends on these people, but if we can get the fucking gamers to take away their attention from this screen, from somebody's fucking little fantasy that they bought, they use their fucking money for to get entertained. Oh, it's so bizarre. This life is so fucking bizarre. The more I think about it, the more I want everything to just end. But that's giving up, and I can't give up. Not just yet. But yeah, the gaming community is whack. and it needs a lot of healing because most of the people there are avoiding the reality that they didn't face love, that they were not loved the way they should have. Not everybody, right? This is a generalization, of course, but when it comes down to it, most people just lack a clear sign of love. Like, have you ever been hugged and allowed to break down without feeling judged, without feeling like your humanity is taken away from you? Not many of us have. Love is very scarce, especially nowadays. Just look around. Everybody's in misery. Everybody's in misery. Why? Because it benefits the structure for people to be miserable in their day-to-day life. That way they don't have time to reflect and actually realize that the way we're living is fucked and it's taking us to the end of the world. Day by day, consumption by consumption, purchase by purchase. It's like we complain about landfills and how much garbage there is in the world, but we constantly buy shit that creates unnecessary garbage. We are the ones taking ourselves out. We are the ones putting ourselves in our fucking demise by every fucking choice that we make every day. Alright, 30 minutes of ranting. I'm just gonna upload this shit. Whoever resonates with it, you can leave the comments, interact, whatever. I use Threads. This is my handle. Actually, it's going to be on the comments or on the description. But following me on Threads, and if you want Instagram too, on Instagram I only put pictures of my past. I edit pictures from very specific times in my, what is that called? Wherever you save your photos, right? I just edit pictures and randomly put them in. But I'm working on a project for Instagram, because the thing is that that's the biggest issue, Instagram, or short attention span places that draw in people who are trying to avoid all the pain they're being subjugated to. Because that's the thing, we're being subjugated to pain and suffering. And the whole intent is for us to just give up on life, to let them do whatever the fuck they're going to do to us. That's the goal. As soon as you give in, you're done. You're done. And that's why I can't give up yet. Because I'm not about to subjugate myself to these dumbasses. Never. Never. Because that's what they are. They're humans. They're stupid people with a lot of money. They're stupid. And you have to understand the stupidity that evil requires. Evil requires so much stupidity and ignorance and willful ignorance. Oh. But again, evil is not like some biblical concept, right? We gotta leave religion the fuck away from our future. Religion is what got us here. Religion was the main manipulation tool of the 1%. Again, it's not about the billionaires who are in power right now. It's about the structure itself that we've been following. It's colonialism. Once we take out the Cheeto guy, there's going to be somebody else to step up and fill that figure. To fill that fucking pawn. Because that's what he is a fucking puppet. So last night I met up with my friend, the stock trader. And the only reason why I mention him is because white people, I know that you feel the burden, right? Most of brown people hate white people because they're the beneficiaries of the system. The system is designed for you to thrive. And that's beautiful, right? We will all like a system that is designed for our benefit. But the thing is, in order for your benefit to be so smoothly and effortlessly, you have to step over so many brown people, so many brown and black people. And it's not about you or your ego or your little hubris, your little pride. It's not about that. It's about the fact that how you see life is rooted on colonialism. There's so much bullshit that stops you from seeing the humanity in people who don't look like you. And it's not just a white issue. It's an American issue because anybody under America can fall for this, can fall for the illusion that money is more important than human lives. Can we just take a second to acknowledge that that's where our mentality is as a fucking nation? We appreciate money and power way more than we appreciate a human life. Now, whose money and power? That's the fucking thing. Capitalism's, the fucking dumbasses supporting capitalists are the dumbasses who aspire to be capitalists. The ones who have no fucking capital to their name, but they live on this fucking dream that they can make it. No, bitch. You're the one needed to lick the boots in order for them to make money. Come on now. Come the fuck on. But yeah, this notion of capitalists with no capital, come on now. Clownery. 2025 is just fucking clownery. It's evil disguised as clownery because it's all very much intended that there's an end goal. Remember, Project 2025. There's an end goal, and we're just the means. I'll leave you with that. There's so much shit to discuss, but I've already wasted 40 minutes of my life just complaining to a camera. So I hope that this lands with somebody. I hope that this fires up something that you've been suppressing, because that's the thing. We suppress our liberation, our ways to liberation. What is liberation? It doesn't mean everybody's rich. It doesn't mean meeting some stupid idea that was born out of capitalism. Because that's the thing, most of us are in capitalist thinking. Even we're trying to escape capitalism through capitalism. It's so stupid. It's so bizarre. Yeah. We need more creativity. We need more creatives who are fired up, who are willing to fucking die for the cause. Not to that extreme, right? But who are willing to stand up for the cause, at the very least. And what is the cause? It's literally just spreading the awareness that you are a human being and you deserve much better than what this fucking system has given you. And it's not up to you to get it all, but it's up to you to reject all the bullshit that keeps on making you feel so small and so desperate and so trapped. All of those are mental frameworks put onto you, mental conditioning put onto you to ensure that you're just a fucking working ant, that you just make profit for the ruling class. Get away from that shit. Do some soul searching, some self-improvement work. Just literally sit with yourself and ask yourself, who am I and what the fuck do I want out of this lifetime? Because you're gonna die. Every single one of us is going to die. And it's really up to us to make a story out of our timeline here, or just let it be a number in the system. It is what it is. I mean, it doesn't matter ultimately. It only matters to you. Because think about all the people who died without recognition. Like, their life still happened. It's just that you don't know about it. And that's gonna be your life or anybody else. You may not leave a legacy with you, but the very actions that you take day by day, they shape the environments around you. They shape the people around you. And that's your actual legacy, is the influence that you had on other people because you were living your fucking life how you wanted it. It's not about leaving some building or some physical manifestation of your legacy. Sure, you can do that if you have the means, right? But ultimately, what really stays is how you leave people feeling every time. Ugh, if only we could actually think with our fucking hearts instead of our brain all the time. Because that's the thing, you can have the balance of being an introvert and an extrovert. There is balance. We were raised under this fucking notion of dichotomy. Everything has to be black or white. No, bitch, there's gray in between. There's so many fucking shades of gray too. Ugh. Life should be so fucking simple, but we've created so much bullshit to entrap one another. And that's the thing, when you start to study psychology, you start to see the patterns of human behavior. And they only go so far, really. It's the same shit over and over. It just looks different based on the circumstances. But it's the same shit. Same developmental stages. Same psychology complexes, same trauma responses, same bullshit. Everybody's the fucking same. But we don't see that because there's a Louis bag. They're carrying a fucking expensive thing. Now you're making assumptions about who they are based on what they wear. Which you might be right. Many people are not based. Many people are shallow enough to just be a personality based on what they wear or based on their capital. Tools of the system. But anyways, that's my cry for help. I hope you enjoyed it. All you can do is improve your immediate reality, and perhaps, if you stay consistent enough, you will create a ripple effect on other people. And they're going to stay consistent with living a better life. Because that's the thing. We don't have bad lives. We have systems that allow us to get in this stupid ass mindset that our life is bad. Think about any fucking American. If you consider the way that you live, how good you fucking have it compared to people in third world countries, can you actually complain? Like, really, can you actually fucking complain? Entitlement. That's the American way. Entitlement. No wonder. I mean, we were born out of colonialism. Of course, everything should be working for me. Anyways, bye-bye.